Decided after 3 years of production, there's a finale, a part three to the Alpharad trilogy. Not that there ever was one. But I guess I just wanted to. I guess I was thinking recently. Well, I was hoping to post a video now, but apparently I got a strike on YouTube for an unlisted live stream video of a video game that I was recording. I don't know how they even, but they striked me for a fucking video they didn't even make public, so that's pretty freaking ridiculous. So I have to wait like 5 days or something. But I guess I was looking back on the video I made making fun of Alfred's music, and it was like I had a few things I wanted to say. You know, I I don't I do kind of view YouTubers as kind of a joke sometimes. And I did feel a little annoyed by his videos in the or by his music in the sense that I got the vibe that there was like this person like around my age trying to like please the boomers and make like band music and kind of copy this outdated form of music that but I mean, I guess the point I was trying to make is I don't it's not that I ever like disliked Alpharad. In fact, I would say I actually kind of like Alpharad. I think that if you compare him to a lot of big time mainstream YouTubers, he makes an effort to really try to be different. He'll make those Nuzlocke videos and stuff like that. I don't really follow his videos. I do try to sometimes, but he's tried like so many times like taking all these risks and like at the same time as doing those kind of videos, he still makes these joke award ceremonies, the copy pasta theater. I still think the copy pasta theater was a great idea. And even though I don't really find him very funny or very musical, I think that he definitely at least makes an effort to to try and break out of the normal mold. And usually you see YouTubers just like stuck in their multi-channel networks, like 10 people, like OTK or something, where they're all hanging out in their orgy house or whatever. Alpharad, I think, is actually like one of the only YouTubers who I've seen like consistently gather like a shit ton of people. So it must be a little bit less limit. I mean, if anything, maybe his demographics are limited to like LA or something. And part of why I made fun of him before is I mean, I don't consider this a very serious reason, but I remember I sometimes if I already complain about someone, I'll joke about them living in it, or I tend to be like on the right wing side, and that don't get me wrong, I don't like to judge people by the way where they live, but I'm just saying of course I will maybe make some jab about that, like, oh, you're liberal, oh, you're LA or something, but when it comes to people like that, you never really know, I don't think, whether they actually are liberal anyway. You could tell sometimes when there's some particularly retarded tweet or something from a YouTuber that they meant it, but sometimes that just happens to be your demographic. He makes videos about Smash Brothers, Persona, and stuff like that. Yeah, it is true that a lot of the demographics of those kinds of fans tend to be more on the liberal side, I would say. Definitely not all of them, but my point is if you have an audience like that, it's nothing personal. Sometimes you do have to do that, but and I would not say that he's ever done any particularly huge political stunt anyway. Besides that, he had a donation stream to Black Lives Matter, I think, but everybody was doing that. But I guess I mean to say is people. I don't like the idea of being categorized as someone who exists to piss off YouTubers. I wouldn't say I would say I don't like the idea of YouTube in a lot of ways, but I think I think that I I think I do when I have made videos making fun of YouTubers, which I really haven't done that often. I feel like when I do it, I actually have something to say. I actually have substance, and I make them long videos. If I wanted to be some douchebag like Leafy is here or something, then I would make a bunch of clickbait, cringy thumbnails and capital letter titles, and I would make a lot more videos, and they would probably be a lot shorter too. But I think that while there is humor and everything, it's not like I think it's not like I'm ever like trying to get that YouTuber's attention or anything like that. Um, and I usually do like a very small amount of promotion, like I post it to like a subreddit or something. Um, and like yeah, I do get a bit of a kick out of the negative reactions, but like and usually there's always a few good comments and a bunch of people, um, people having some supportiveness. Um, as long as they're not like doxing and stuff like that, which sometimes happens. But like I mean, I do think it's like I said, I think like the thing that kind of got me about the whole Ace of Hearts thing was, I mean, for one thing, I mean, I learned who Alpharad was, I think around that time, maybe a little bit earlier. I think he was just trending a lot back then, but like when I saw him post like Silver Lining, I don't know, musicians do sometimes annoy me. I just felt like it felt so much like some piece of crap college student song. Like it's not like I was lying when I said I didn't like the song, but at the same time I was aware that like complaining about someone's music, especially the fact that I'm not a musician myself, complaining about it, I always thought that was self-explanatory, that that was part of the humor. But at least like I feel like if I was just doing it for attention or just doing it for a reaction or to be some douchebag, then for one thing I would have made a lot more videos about it. And secondly, I wouldn't have like actually taken the time to actually listen to it. Instead of, I probably would have just made some 5-minute videos like, this is terrible, it's a ripoff of the Beatles or something. And something else actually, I'm pretty sure Alpharad himself said that he doesn't even think of himself necessarily as a great musician anyway. He just and from the perspective of any history of any rock band or anything, it's not like a band ever has a first album that's ever very good or successful anyway. I would say one of my only real gripes with Frozen in Time, the album, was the fact that Find Me in Your Dreams is sort of a rip-off of Fly Me to the Moon, although people get away with that sort of copying all the time, really. And some of the songs were just boring. Um, but I mean, I'm sure they at least like it's not that I don't understand. Like, I'm sure even terrible works have like a lot of effort put into them still. But yeah, I mean, I just I think like when I made a video yelling and everything and acting like I did not want to come across as some sort of douchebag American Idol judge or something. And I always thought it was kind of obvious, but most people don't understand. Like when I say it's garbage, that's like that is not meant to be taken seriously when I say something exaggerate like that. Um, but I'm not trying. I guess what I mean to say is like I'm not deliberately trying to be seen as someone who's conflictual or controversial. When I put out a video, I don't ever expect any views from it or anything. What I usually just do is, if I'm putting it out there publicly, I'm okay with whatever reaction somebody has. But beyond that, I really have no idea. There definitely happens sometimes, like with that one where I did get an unexpected amount of comments and stuff. I mean, when he released that album, there wasn't really much else. I think there were some reviews, but like there wasn't really much else to look up. So I'm guessing maybe if somebody looked up his Frozen Time album and then they delved into it any further, they might have found my review just because there was not much else in the first place. Um, it's not and I suppose also the fact that they got tons of dislikes. YouTube seems to like generally favor you in the algorithm when you get dislikes. At least it used to be that way. Like even when like the first one, Alpharad's Silver Lining is Garbage, like I got like that had like less than 1,000 views, yet it was like one of the first things that came up at least at one point when you searched like Alpharad Silver Lining. um so yeah. But I think like if you're locked into YouTube and you got famous from Smash Brothers video, I'm not sure, is that how he made videos? It's like he makes it seems to me like I get the impression he sort of takes influence off of Donkey sometimes and sometimes just Twitch stream clip stuff, but like I think Alpharad did once say a couple years ago that he was like in some tweet, like he said he was tired of. He seemed to imply, in my opinion, that he was basically tired of being a YouTuber, wanted to change things. And I think, like, he's probably, in order to, like, still consistently do the stupid Nuzlocke videos and everything, probably to keep your views up and everything, I feel like those are the videos that, in my opinion, he might just not want to make and might just have to do in order to keep the career going. But then he might even have to be doing double the work in order to also do the more original random videos he makes. And I think the random videos he makes, anything beyond, going to Disneyland or whatever stuff in theater, I don't necessarily like all of it, but I think it's definitely all like an effort to try and, just make things a little bit more genuinely entertaining. I think otherwise you'd just be locking yourself. And I think, like I said, I think it probably takes double the work in order to do both of that stuff at the same time. Um, but I would say, in my opinion, I've never had anything personal against Alpharad. If I did, if I thought he had actually done something bad, which I have said about other YouTubers, I would have said so. And I think I would say I actually like him. I think I don't necessarily find him funny or follow his YouTube channel, like I said, but like I would say he seems, in my opinion, smarter than most YouTubers. And just trying to be more of an entertainer. Like I've never wanted to be a YouTuber. um, but yeah, it's crazy, crazy.